What's up YouTube? It's your girl Faye. How are you guys? Hopefully you're all doing great. I'm doing well. Okay, so I'm just coming in here real quick to do the review for Braxton Family Values episode 2. First off, let me say thank you very much for y'all interacting with me on the last video. I really appreciate it. Some new people have come by, some new people have subscribed. So hopefully we can keep the interaction going while this season goes on. Okay, so anyway, let's get into the show. Okay, so the show opens up basically with them coming back from Bermuda from Tony's show, and Tony saying how, you know, she thinks the show went okay, blah blah blah. So they're kind of like in relaxed mode, and they're coming off the high of being away in another country, so they're back home. So all in all, they end up having like a lunch together, and they're just clowning around, chilling, whatever. Trina drops the bomb on them that, oh yeah, I got a DUI the other day. Just like that. So everyone's like looking at her like shocked or whatever, and she said it kind of nonchalantly, no remorse, no kind of like seriousness in her voice. She says she was tipsy at the time. I'm not sure if they said what her meter was, but she was arrested. You know, they kind of made more concern at first about, oh, I had to take my lace front wig off. So, oh, that made me take off everything, and I don't know, I just didn't feel like, you know, I don't think DUI is a laughing matter. So the way she presented it to me was just like she didn't really care. Now I don't know if she was drunk while she was telling them, but you know, I felt like, you know, it's a little serious matter, so it probably should have been told a little bit more seriously. But anyway, nonetheless, so everyone is kind of worried, and they're thinking, okay, what the hell is going on with her? So now they're starting to talk about how, you know, she's drinking more and more and she's changing. Okay, next thing is, then they showed Tawanda and her husband for the first time. We get to see Andre. Andre is an author. He stays at home with the children. He writes books. None of these books have been produced, or I mean published, or if they have been published, he's not going to book signings. It's very confusing. It's very clear. She says it. She's a breadwinner of the family. She's the one who's holding everything down. And he kind of tends to have, he has a little bit of resentment towards her because of the fact that she's always with Tony. And her point is, I'm always with Tony because I'm the one making the money. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'll get to that point in a second. So they're at dinner. He's asking her, you know, you know, what's the problem? Do you even like me? Whatever. And she's just, and he's like, well, you know, you remind me a lot of my mama, and I didn't like my mama. This is your wife. You know what I mean? So she's reminding him of his mama. He don't like his mama. At another point, she asked him, oh, you know, do you like other girls? And he's just like, what man wouldn't like to be with another woman? He know what she meant. He gave her a left field answer for a right field question, and he knew exactly what she meant. She wanted to know if he was cheating on her, if he was doing his own thing, and he copped out. He didn't answer it. Well, I'm not gonna say it's a cop out, but he wasn't straightforward. He just kind of gave her a little BS sideline answer in the hopes that, you know, she would shut up. So yeah, not cool. So, you know, they're talking. The dinner gets nowhere. They leave the restaurant. Tawanda's still kind of like, what the hell was the point? You know, she's still kind of apprehensive about the relationship. She has a problem with the fact that she's not at home as much because she has young children. I think she said 4 and 5 or 3 and 4. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. But she has young children, and that would be hard for anybody to be away from their children. You know what I mean? And then have to come home to a messy marriage. I mean, really. So that, you know, that's still kind of lingering at that point. Trina is in a cover band, and she decides to invite everybody to come to the cover band. And while she's rehearsing, they all walk in. She gets kind of nervous at first, but then she loosens up. Tamar, it goes off. Tamar is like, why is she, this is Glee Live. Why is she's basically in a cover band when you know, you were in the band with us writing original songs and blah 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 blah, and now you're in a cover band. Like, she pretty much is like against the fact that Trina is this. And then she is even more upset because when they come to the rehearsal, Trina is doing background singing. So she was like, not only are you in the Glee Live, you're also a background singer. You were a background singer for Tony. Why would you leave Tony to be a background singer still, you know? So Trina basically gets upset because they're just pressuring her. She kicks them out the damn rehearsal. Okay, she's like, well, y'all can leave. And Tony, the diva, comes up, and Tony's like, Purse, you ain't gotta tell me twice. You ain't kicking me out nowhere. I'm Tony Braxton. She didn't say that, but that's pretty much, that was funny to me. She was just like, Purse, okay, I'm out. You ain't finna kick me out. And I agree with her on that. So that was, that's what that was all about. So now they start now they're talking more about how they're concerned with Trina, blah blah blah. So Tracy, the one that they've coined the wannabe, I still have a problem with that title, but Tracy decides, well, she kind of says, well, let's go talk to Gabe. Enter Gabe. Gabe is Trina's husband. The mama is like, don't go talking to Gabe without Trina knowing, because that's just messy. I mean, who wants their wife, their husband, who wants they sisters to go talk to their husband? Now let me say this real quick. I have 4 sisters, it's 5 of us too, and I'm watching these people like, okay, these shenanigans really happen to other people too, because my sisters and us are like, we're a very close knit, and we kind of get in each other's business too. So we'll talk about that in a second. So they all decide to go, well, sorry, Tamar, Tawanda, and Tracy decide they gonna go behind the mama's back and go to see Gabe. They get there to see Gabe. Gabe is like, she done gained weight. She sit around the house and don't do nothing. All she do is drink. I don't know what kind of home training y'all got, but she don't want to do nothing around the house, blah, blah, blah. And Tamar's like, what kind of home training we got? Like, Tamar is not having it. They're going back and forth. They're exchanging words. Finally, Tamar is like, listen, the problem ain't Trina. The problem is your crazy ass. You the one that's driving her to drink and do all of this stuff, whatever. Now, Tamar also gets really upset because in the conversation, Gabe kind of releases or reveals the fact that he's been talking to the dad. Now, their dad is divorced. The dad apparently cheated on the mom. So Tamar, being the baby, and I understand, I feel you, Tamar, on that point. Tamar kind of has some little, like, issues with the dad even being around in the picture, and I understand that. So she's like, upset, whatever. They suggest that they just leave. So in their bright idea thinking, they decided they're going to have an intervention for Miss Trina. So they take Trina, Tawanda takes Trina to a spa, and in that spa, they relax, they have a good time, and then they show up at the mama house. And everybody's in there, and they pretty much have an intervention. The intervention, in my opinion, did not go well. It failed because Tamar she took the limelight, even though it really wasn't about her. Like, they were having a lot of personal attacks on each other, even though Tamar called Gabe a wankster. I ain't heard nobody use that word in so long. That was just hilarious to me. I was like, a wankster. So, the intervention didn't go well. I agree that maybe Trina should be seeking, help for her issues, but clearly the venue was not in front of them and in front of cameras, no less, because it didn't go well, so it pretty much the story ends with Trina still having a problem drinking. Yes, she admits it, but she thinks it's a problem, but not really. She's put on 25 pounds, but she's not really, like, losing sleep over it, okay? So they cut out of that. Tawanda decides that she's going to ask her husband to go to counseling because she can't take it no more. He was like, no. And they cut the clip with him sitting there playing the video game. That was it. Like, so, pretty much at the end of the show, she decides that she is going to file papers for separation because she's not getting what she needs out of the relationship. So she just pretty much like, okay, she tried, but she's, serving him with papers. Tony's kind of upset because Tony's like, well, I really want them to work it out and blah, blah, blah. So the story continues with all of them. The lighter side of the whole thing was that the whole show was that they were entering the Taste of Atlanta to have, like, you know, to showcase them cooking or whatever. They all were practicing recipes. When it come down to it, Mama makes this recipe of blackberry dumplings. I couldn't really get what it was. I don't know what the heck it is. It pretty much tastes like crap. Even at the house when they were practicing, Tamar calls it asscrack.com. She says it tastes like asscrack.com. They're like, you know, they all hate it, but they don't tell Mama they hate it. They let Mama go to the Taste of Atlanta, show people how to cook asscrack.com, and it turned out horribly. So, and she's like, that's the first time that ever happened, because they didn't tell her it happened at home too. So they hate this recipe. You know, she's trying to keep their legacy alive and pass this recipe on to children. She's like, I'm the last one alive who remembers this recipe. And according to Tamar, it tastes like asscrack.com. So that was hilarious. That was pretty much it. They went to an acting, you know, they showed clips of them, Trina and Tawanda, going to acting class, and they took Tamar along with them, and you know, MissBadAttitude.com was there. She was saying the man is ham, a hot ass mess. I don't know. His name was Brooklyn. He was kind of cute to me, so I don't know what Tamar was talking about, but yeah. That's pretty much it. This show, this time for me, was like a 3.5. It was, you know, it gave me a little bit of laughter here and there, you know, jolted. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of me and my sisters because, you know, we all get in each other's business. You know, Mojo always says, well, you know, why do you feel compelled to tell them all your business? Because you know what's going to happen. It's not going to end right. So that's kind of what it boiled down to. If you don't want the drama when you have like a family like that, don't tell them your business. And Trina, you know, when you're in a big family, you kind of feel compelled to share. And I don't think a lot of things need to be shared because they are just all over the place. I will say this. It seems like all of the men in that relationship all of the men that are coming into those relationships have problems with those women being successful or them being the Braxtons, except for Vince. Well, of course, because he's making money, you know, he's Tony's person. But they all kind of seem to have underlying issues with the fact that they are the Braxtons. And to me, you know, I'm a firm believer that if you're going to be in my corner, you need to be in my corner to help me, not to really tear me down. So I don't like that. I don't like how they all have problems with working with Tony, but they still work with Tony. I don't like how all of their husbands have issues with them being the Braxtons, and then those men are still around. Like, I mean, that to me is a major deal. When you're in a big family, you're dating people. You can't have people in your corner who don't mean you well. I mean, that's just my opinion. So I don't like that issue. So we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, that's my piece. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what y'all thought about the show if you watched. Some people were not impressed last time. Some people were so turned off by Tamar last week that they were like, they ain't watching no more. So let me know if you watched. Let me know what you thought. Alright, bye. Talk to y'all later.